I lost 20 pounds of weight during my journey to becoming plant-based. With that 20 pounds, with my butt, my shape, and a lot of my confidence. So I took the time to learn how to gain back healthy weight using completely plant-based foods, no protein powders. I put on 15 pounds to date and rebuilt my figure. And in this video, I'll be teaching you how you can gain weight while living a plant-based lifestyle. I'll be discussing the 3 keys to gaining healthy weight, how to adjust your meals for weight gain, the best plant-based foods for weight gain, what you can expect on your journey, and get a little bit into the fitness aspect of it so that you know exactly what you need to do to achieve the body of your dreams by the time you finish watching this entire video. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So new series today, we're talking about plant-based gains, vegan gains, just in time for the spring. Everybody's working on their summer bodies. We get ready to come back outside. Everything's waking up. It's time to get our bodies where we want our bodies to be. If you tuned in to my journey on how I became plant-based, you will know that I stopped eating one food and it caused me to lose over 20 pounds. My butt was gone. Any little bit of figure I had was gone. And I personally was not comfortable with that. That was the smallest I had been in my life since before I went through puberty. So I learned how to gain back healthy weight using completely plant-based ingredients, no protein powders, and I'm up 15 pounds since I initially lost my 25 pounds. Basically back to the weight that I was before I went plant-based, but it's healthy weight now as opposed to just a bunch of fat on my body. Now I'm going to be teaching y'all how you can do the same thing. So let's get right into it. There are 3 keys to gaining weight. Number 1, you must be in caloric surplus. Number 2, you have to reach your protein goals for your target body weight. You have to eat, baby. You gotta eat. And number 3, you need to do some type of weight or resistance training. So number 1, caloric surplus. Caloric surplus simply means that you are intaking more calories per day than you burn. I don't know how to figure out how many calories you burn per day. I'm not going to lie, but I do know how to figure out how many calories you need to intake in order to gain weight, but we'll cover that in a little bit later in the video. So caloric surplus, you need to be intaking more calories per day than you burn. Number 2, you have to reach your daily protein intake minimum for your target body weight. You need to eat. You can't expect to be gaining or building plant-based gains if you don't eat. You have to eat. The amount of protein that you need to maintain or to get to your target body weight is going to depend on what your target body weight is. And again, I'll talk about how you can figure out these numbers and everything a little bit later in the video. But you have to make sure you reach your protein intake. Protein is literally amino acids. A protein is a complex chain of amino acids. So we could think about it like bricks. So an amino acid is like a single brick. A protein is like a house. It's just a whole bunch of bricks. These individual amino acids are what make up literally everything in your body. Different combinations of them are what create your skin, what creates your muscles, what create your organs. Like amino acids are what the entire body is composed of. Just the different combinations of them are what create the different structures and things in your body. So you need to make sure that you're consuming more amino acids because this weight gain is essentially, it is muscle. It's not even an essential. It is muscle. So you need to make sure that you're consuming enough so that your body is able to actually build muscle. Resistance training or weight training, number 3. Weight training is really the key to gaining healthy weight, especially when it comes to building a shape, your structure. And I'm talking to my ladies out here. It's key because strengthening certain muscles is what's going to give you structure. You could build muscle, but when I first started my plant-based gains journey, I was about 8 months in, 8 months plant-based. And I didn't initially start off weight training. I didn't start weight training until 2023. And I went plant-based in 2020. So I started my weight gain journey in 2021, but I didn't start weight training until 2023. And I'm going to try to find some pictures. I do have pictures. I took pictures every month during the point where I was just eating, not working out. But I didn't have any pants on. And I just don't want my yams on the internet like that. So I'm gonna put some pictures in here of the closest time frame between before I started just the food part and then after I stopped the food part. You can see the difference, and then I'll include some pictures later when I actually started working out. But weight training is definitely going to give you the structure and the shape to your body that you want. So if you doing just food, it will make a difference. But if you really looking for building a figure, building a shape, you need to be doing weight training, because the resistance that those weights, or even a band, like resistance band, the resistance that it gives you, the pushback that it gives you, is what's going to make you stronger and allow your muscles to, start poking out and the definition to start showing. So that's a key aspect when it comes to specifically building your figure, but it's very helpful overall for gaining healthy weight. How many calories do you need to eat per day to gain weight? How much protein do you need to eat per day to get to your target weight? So let's start with the calories. So I'm not going to lie. I don't know how to figure out how many calories you burn per day in order to say, oh, okay, well, I know I burn this amount per day, so I need to be eating this amount in order to gain weight. I don't know how to figure that out. I'm not going to try to learn how to figure that out. But I will share with y'all how you can find out how many calories you need in order to gain weight. This is what I did when I first started my food-only portion of my plant-based gains journey. So just going to do a simple Google search. And what I searched was how many calories per day to gain 1 pound per week. So you could pick however, if you want to gain like a half a pound per week, just put a half a pound. If you want to do a pound per week, do a pound per week. I wouldn't recommend no more than 2 pounds per week, because you don't want to put too much weight on your body too fast. You don't want to overwhelm your body. Everything that you're doing when it comes to you gaining weight, you want to do it progressively. Do not overwhelm your body. Do not try to do too much too fast. That's not healthy. That, just move slowly, progressively. So I just Googled how many calories per day. I don't know why it's in all caps. Don't ask. To gain 1 pound per week. And this says to gain weight, you need to consume more calories than you burn. We just talked about that. To gain 1 to 2 pounds per week, you could try increasing your calorie intake by 500 to 1,000 calories per day. So we know the recommended average daily calorie intake is about 2,000 calories per day. So if you are increasing your calorie intake by 500 to 1,000 per day, you need to be intaking 2,500 to 3,000 calories per day. So what you need to do is, you don't have to do this the entire time, but if you know what types of meals you eat, you need to learn how to read your nutrition labels. They will tell you how many calories are in a serving. Let's go get one. So when it comes to reading your nutrition labels, it will tell you how many calories are in a serving. So this is spelt flour. This is one of the foods that's going to be your friend when it comes to plant-based gains. We're going to get to that later in the video. But this is spelt flour, right? So spelt flour, one serving size is 1/4 cup. And that's 120 calories. So for every 1/4 cup of spelt flour that you use, you are consuming 120 calories. So for example, the pancake recipe I include in my Plant-Based Eating for Beginners ebook calls for 1 cup of spelt flour. So based on this serving size, 1 cup of spelt flour, those pancakes have a minimum of 12 times 4. Since it's 1/4 cup, I used 1 cup, that's 480 calories in those pancakes. So that's what you need to figure that out for your basic meals. And once you start learning how much, okay, I know I typically eat pancakes every day, so my pancakes are 480 calories. I know I typically eat quinoa with some vegetables per day. This 1 cup of quinoa is X amount of calories. You'll be able to tell how many calories you eat, and once you have a basis for that, then you will know, okay, I'm meeting my required intake of calories in order to be in caloric surplus. I would recommend that you pick a food that you can eat regularly. Like switch it up. Quinoa is a perfect example. Quinoa, you eat quinoa just like you would eat rice. So you can do so many different things with it so you don't get tired of eating it, but you already know, okay, I know 1 cup of quinoa is X amount of calories. 1 cup of quinoa has X amount of protein. So if you include that in your meals daily, you will know, okay, I've had 500 calories off of this meal because my quinoa had X amount of calories in it. So that's how you can start keeping track of how many calories you take per day. And then again, if you eat the same foods and just switch up the way you flavor them, the way you make them, you won't have to do this all the time. Like, nobody wants to sit up and be out at a restaurant and count calories. Like, ain't nobody gonna do all that. But if you know, again, that X amount of, if a fourth cup spelt flour has 120 calories, okay, let me make sure I get my pancakes in. That's gonna be my 480 minimum. That's how you can start keeping track of your calories and just meeting whatever the calorie intake is for however much weight you plan to gain per week. Now, when it comes to protein, there's another way to calculate how much protein you need. So I'm just going to Google how much protein per day. So to calculate how much protein you need per day, it is roughly 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, or 0.36 grams per pound. So you could either, if you're using the first method, 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, you would just take your body weight in pounds, convert it to kilograms. They have that on Google, just pounds to kilograms. And then take that number that you get and multiply it by 0.8. I'll do myself as an example. My target weight, I might already be there. I have not weighed myself since August. I was 135. That's the weight I was before I went plant-based. Before I gained weight, that was my natural body weight, is 135 to 140. Before I went plant-based. Last time I weighed myself was in August. I was 135. I don't have a scale because it would drive me crazy if I had a scale in my room all the time. So I don't have one, and I just weigh myself whenever I get access to one. So I don't know exactly how much I weigh right now. But the last time I weighed myself, I was 135. So I use myself as an example. My target weight is 140. So I'm going to convert 140 to kilograms. So I'm just going on Google. Pounds to kilograms. And then they show you a calculator. So I'm going to put in my body weight in pounds, or my desired body weight in pounds, which would be 140. And it says that is 63.5 kilograms. So next, I'm going to multiply my body weight in kilograms by 0.8, and 63.5 times 0.8 is 50.8. So based on this calculation, I only need to be consuming 50.8 grams of protein per day in order to maintain or to get to my target weight of 140 pounds. Now let's go to the other method. Instead of doing all the calculation conversion, you can just multiply your body weight in pounds by 0.36 to figure out how much protein you need. So let's try that. So 140 times 0.36, this gave me 50.4. So basically, I need to be consuming about 50 grams of protein per day in order to get to, if I'm not already there, my target weight of 140, or to maintain my target weight of 140 if I'm already there. When you do this, input your goal weight. If you are 120 and you want to be 135, you will be inputting 135 in all these calculations. That's going to tell you how much protein you need in order to get to 135, and then how much you need to be eating once you're there to maintain it. And also, this will work if you're trying to lose weight. You could put in your goal weight, and it'll tell you how much protein you need to intake for your goal weight, so you'll know, okay, I need to cut back on how much protein I'm intaking. So to find how many calories you need to intake daily to be in caloric surplus, or to gain X amount of pounds per week, just do a simple Google search based on how many pounds you plan to gain. Also, keep in mind the amount of physical activity you do. If you run 5 miles every day, the number is going to change because you're losing more calories, or you're burning more calories. But if you do an average amount of, maybe you work out for 2 hours, like 30 minutes of running, cardio, and then the rest of it is like weight training, different versus somebody who's running for 5-10 miles a day. So that's something to keep in mind. To calculate how many calories you need to intake, just do a Google search based on how much weight you want to gain per week. Half a pound, 1 pound, or 2 pounds. Don't go over 2 pounds a week. Don't do too much to your body too fast. And then when it comes to protein, you could either convert your pounds, your body weight in pounds, to kilograms, and then multiply that number by 0.8, or just keep your body weight in pounds and multiply that number by 0.36, and that will tell you how much protein you need to intake per day. Use myself as an example. Based on both of those methods, I need to be consuming 50 grams of protein per day in order to get to or maintain my goal body weight of 140. Now, this is one of the things I always hear people say about eating plant-based foods. Oh, I have to eat so much of this in order to have this amount of this. No, you don't have to eat 5 plates of food. The key to this is including calorie-dense foods into your meals. Now, when I say calorie-dense foods, we're talking about nutrient-dense calories. These are not empty calories. Empty calories are in chips, are in candy, are in cookies, processed foods. Yes, they have a lot of calories, but those are empty calories. That's going to cause fat, unhealthy fat. We're trying to get healthy weight here. You don't want empty calories. So when you eating your calorie-dense foods or incorporating your calorie-dense foods, these are nutrient and calorically dense foods. So some examples. Spelt flour. We just went through this. 1/4 a cup of spelt flour is 120 calories. 1 serving of pancakes from my plant-based eating for beginners ebook calls for 1 cup of spelt flour. That's 480 calories right there. That's if you got to intake 2,500 calories a day to gain a half a pound a week, based on the calculations that you Google for how much you want to gain. You might be at, that's basically 500. We can round that up. You already at a fifth of your goal, and that's just off pancakes. That's not including if you add some hemp seeds to these pancakes. That's not including if you add some sweet tahini to these pancakes. We're finna get into that. So, spelt flour. Nuts. Nuts are going to be your best friend. Almonds, walnuts, pecans, cashews. Soak them first overnight and dehydrate them, or you could bake them, roast them, I should say. The soaking overnight breaks down the potential anti-nutrients in those nuts, which allows your body to actually digest them and utilize them better. This is something I'll talk about in depth in my plant-based nutrient guide ebook. You could also add nuts to your meals. So add some walnuts to your salad. Add some pecans to your oatmeal. Just eat the nuts by themselves. Make granola. There's so many different ways you can incorporate this, but just add these things to your regular meals. If you know you eat a salad for lunch, add some nuts to your salad. If you know you eat oatmeal every day, add some nuts to your oatmeal. This is how you can easily start to add in more calories and more nutrients with your meals. Also, these same foods are high in protein as well, but we're going to get to that next. So, nuts, oils like olive oil, coconut oil, high in calories, also high in nutrients. Butters. This is like nut butters, like almond butter, like cashew butter. Just like nuts, they're high in calories, high in protein, and they're also high in overall nutrients. These are not empty calories. Oatmeal was one of the things I was eating every day in the part of my plant-based gains journey where I was just focused on food. I didn't start weight training yet. I used to eat oatmeal every single day. Before that, I made my oatmeal with like almond milk, brown sugar, and some cinnamon. Now, when I eat oatmeal, I make my oatmeal with coconut water instead of the almond milk. I add almond butter. I add hemp seeds. I add agave. I add cinnamon. I add bananas, and I add blueberries. Bananas are one of the fruits that are higher in protein than other fruits. Almond butter adds calories, adds protein. The oats themselves are high in protein. Just go through your meals, especially meals that you regularly eat, like your breakfast. If you know you eat overnight oats every single day for breakfast, how can I bulk this meal up? How can I add a calorie-dense food to this meal? If you know you eat quinoa with some steamed vegetables and some jerk mushrooms every night, how can I add calorie-dense foods to this meal to bulk it up? Avocados are another calorie-dense food. Quinoa, tahini, chickpeas, and we already said spelt flour, but that's a good list of high calorie or calorically dense foods that you can add to your diet. I'll go over that again. Nuts, so walnuts, cashews, pecans, almonds, soaked or sprouted overnight for optimum digestion. Seeds. I didn't say seeds. Oh my god, y'all, seeds. What have I said the past 4 videos? Hemp. Get you some hemp seeds. Hemp seeds. Hemp seeds. Also, chia seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds. All of these things are high in calories, high in protein, and also high in nutrients. They are not like empty calories. These are not unhealthy calories. A calorie is just a unit of energy. A calorie is a unit of measurement for energy. These are actual, foods that'll fuel your body. Pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, sunflower seeds. How can I bulk up this meal? Whatever you eating, how can I bulk up this meal? How can I bulk up this meal? So nuts, you got your seeds, you got oils like olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, butters, almond butter, cashew butter, walnut butter, pistachio butter, quinoa, tahini, spelt flour, chickpeas, things like that. So that's when it comes to calories, but these same foods are also high in protein. But I want to cover some complete protein foods that you can incorporate into your diet to help you reach your daily protein intake. As I said before in the past 3 or 4 videos, hemp is a great source of plant-based protein. 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds is 10 grams of protein. I have a recipe for the protein smoothie bowl that I eat after I work out. It's about 47 grams of protein in that one bowl. Mind you, we calculated my body weight and my intake earlier. I only need 50 grams of protein per day. So on the days I work out, that one bowl is basically my entire day's worth of protein. So at that point, I'm in excess. It's not crazy excess because I'm eating simpler amino acids as opposed to super complex proteins. We're going to talk about that later. But that one protein bowl, smoothie bowl, is my entire daily intake. It's about 47 grams of protein. I only need 50. So I'll put a link to the short where I included the recipe for this in the description box. But hemp seeds, a half a cup of hemp seeds is about 25 grams of protein. Like, did I do that right? Yes, 24 to 25 grams of protein. But some other complete proteins. Referencing my plant-based nutrient guide ebook. This is a great resource, especially if you're on your journey to plant-based gains. Everything is in here. You don't got to look it up every single time. You can just go to the ebook. It's got plant-based protein broken down. And I did a whole chapter on protein because people be acting stupid. Yes, I said stupid when it comes to protein in plant-based foods. But I got iron, plant-based iron sources, calcium, zinc, omegas 3 and 6, magnesium, B12. All of that is in this ebook. I'll link it in the description box as well. So we said quinoa, hemp, amaranth, chia seeds, chickpeas, and rice together is a complete source of protein. And these are super simple because you can just, anything you eat, you can sprinkle hemp seeds over it. Anything you eat, you can sprinkle chia seeds over it. Quinoa, again, acts like rice. You could put quinoa in salads. You could put quinoa in like Chipotle type bowls. You could put quinoa. People make, I have quinoa flakes you can use instead of oatmeal. Like, quinoa is so versatile. People put quinoa in granola. People like quinoa is so versatile, and it's a complete plant-based. It's a complete protein. A complete protein means that it contains all 9 essential amino acids that the body does not produce on its own. So there are 20-something amino acids. The body produces a good amount of them on their own, but there are 9 that the body does not produce on its own. So you have to get it from your food. That's what a complete protein is. It contains all 9 amino acids that the body needs in order to build proteins and everything else that amino acids are used for. Right, so when it comes to expectations for your journey, your plant-based gains journey, your gains are not going to look the exact same as somebody who is gaining off of an animal-based diet. And that is because plant-based foods are nutrient-focused, whereas animal-based foods tend to be weight-focused. People go out of their way to try to consume as much as possible, thinking that that's better for them. More does not automatically equate to better. I will say that again. more does not automatically equate to better. So you might have a dairy milkshake that has 200 grams of protein in it, and your almond milkshake that you made might only have 50 or 75 grams of protein in it. That doesn't mean that dairy protein shake is better for you. It just has more protein. But like I said earlier, if we comparing proteins and amino acids to bricks in a house, the body is a very simple thing. It's very complex, but it's very simple at the same time. And the body has to break down complex proteins into individual amino acids before it can use anything anyway. Hence why most people who eat super heavy protein foods get the itis afterwards. They get tired because it's too much for your body to handle. So your body has to break down complex proteins into individual amino acids before it can use anything anyway. So using our analogy, if you bring a house to the property, we got to tear the house apart into individual bricks before we can even build the one that we actually supposed to be building. So if you just eating a whole bunch of protein, trying to consume as much protein as humanly possible, you're actually doing yourself a disservice, because number one, you're using up your energy, because breaking that house down, that protein down into individual bricks or amino acids is using energy, more energy than you should be expending on digestion, and taking away energy from actually building like you're supposed to, or repairing other things in the body that needs to be repaired. But not only that, if you consistently bringing in these super complex proteins or these houses, now you got 4 houses on the property that all need to be broken down into individual bricks before you can build the actual house that you're supposed to be working on. Because you got all these excess proteins that your body can't use because it has to break it down into individual amino acids anyway. So all of this excess, all these extra houses you got on the property, all this extra protein that you got, now is being stored as fat. Now you're putting fat on your body, and we're talking about healthy gains. So that's not what you want to do. Plus, if you just got a whole bunch of excess cells and tissue, does that not sound like a tumor? But that's a whole different thing. We're not gonna get into that right now. Okay, simple amino acids and plant-based foods are nutrient focused, not weight focused. So again, I only need 50 grams of protein per day to be at my target weight. I don't need to have 100 grams of protein in every single meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Because we're focused on muscle building, it's not going to look the same as somebody who's building based off of fat. And I'm going to put some pictures in of me when I was in high school. I was 135. That's my natural body weight, 135 to 140. I'll put some pictures up of when I was 135 in high school on an animal-based diet. And I put pictures of me right now, 135 on a plant-based diet. So you can see the difference. Like, before, there was a lot of fat on my body. And it just, again, like I said in the other videos, just the way my genetics are, it collected in my butt first. So I didn't really mind it until it started showing up in other places. But you can see, like, I'm slimmer now. I still have a figure. I built a figure, but I'm slimmer now. Because this is healthy weight. This is muscle. This is not fat. Versus before, I just had a whole bunch of fat on my body. And this is also relevant because if you're just going that route of I'm just going to consume as much as possible, it'll be so much easier for you to lose what you built if you slack. So if you go 2 weeks without going to the gym and you go on that just as much as possible route, all you're doing is toning up fat versus actually building muscle. So if you take 2 weeks off for whatever reason, whether it's intentional, on purpose, emergency, whatever it is, that structure that you gave to that fat is going to go much faster than the actual muscle that you built on plant-based food. So as far as expectations, don't be expecting, a BBL body off of no plant-based gains. But you can do a lot. And what I will also say, I meant to say this at the beginning of the video, you can do so much more than I did. I work out at home. I buy my own weights. And weights they cost some money. So I was able to put 15 pounds on, and I'm only at 20 pounds in dumbbells right now. I'm only at 20 pounds in dumbbells, and I was able to put on 15 pounds. On top of that, I was working around an injury. I pulled a muscle in my hip. That caused my pelvis to tilt, which caused my entire spine to misalign. So I was working around an injury. So I was doing my increases, increasing my weight, increasing my food and everything. I was doing it low-key very slowly. So you could do a lot more than I'm doing if you got a gym where you got 50, 75, 100-pound weights that you can use. I did 15 pounds with a 20-pound dumbbell, I did 3 pounds first, and I had 5 pounds, then I had a 10-pound weight, then I got a 15-pound weight. Now I'm at 20. and working with 25. I did 15 pounds with just that. So again, if you in a gym, you got a lot more weights accessible to you. You could do a lot more than I did. But yeah, I just want to address that aspect of it because, you know, these are two different things, but don't go based off of my gains because, again, I was working around an injury and I'm only using 25-pound weights. So imagine what if I was able to gain 15 pounds with just 20 pounds of weights. Imagine what you could do in the gym with 75, with 100, with 115. You get what I'm saying? And then just incorporating the food aspect into it. Now you know the 3 keys to gain a healthy weight. You know how to calculate how many calories and how much protein you need to intake daily to get to your weight. You know which plant-based foods to incorporate into your meals to achieve your calorie and protein goals every single day. The very next aspect that you need to focus on to really truly build your body, specifically a figure, is fitness, weight training specifically. In my next video, I'll be showing y'all the workouts I did that helped me get from here to here. This is a 10-pound difference. Make sure you click the subscribe button, and I'll see y'all next week.